Let's wrap up the business week and market week with this edition of your Business Morning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. I am Bosin Ofai. Nigeria's central bank rate cut had been expected as real interest rates have remained positive for almost a year. However, its potential impact on growth is likely to be limited since its transmission to the real economy and to lending rates is weak in Nigeria. That's the view from Moody's Investors Services, according to the Vice President, an email sent early today. And that's still talking about the Tuesday's interest rate cut for the first time in 2 years by Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee. Meantime, the debt office under Patience Oneh has unveiled 2019 borrowing plans of 1.6 trillion naira, which she says will be spread evenly between local and foreign borrowing windows. DMO Chief Ms. Oneh, however, says there are serious issues around getting subnationals, and that's the state governments and corporates to come to the debt market. Meantime, the head of the NIPC, that's the Nigeria Investment Promotion Council, Yewande Sadiko, says there are key sectors that the government needs to hand over to the private sector, adding that we are currently attracting, or that Nigeria is currently attracting investment into sectors that do not bring the big numbers yet. So the NIPC told the securities market operators yesterday that they have the duty to tell the government what needs to be done and address issues with urgency. It was also a big week last week for the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, a circular has just been released stating that the SEC has extended the deadline for dividend warrants paper issuance till December this year. According to the SEC, as an assessment done on what's been done with e-dividend payments have shown that there are key issues yet to be resolved to achieve total electronic dividend initiative in Nigeria. So today brings the 2019 World Financial Literacy or Global Money Week to an end, and it's been a very busy one for many organizations. Of course, today the Nigerian Stock Exchange will host its own event wrapping up. But the Junior Achievement Nigeria has had a very busy week, and joining us here to share some of the week's highlights and outlook on financial literacy is the Executive Secretary of the Junior Achievement Nigeria, Timi Nwogugu. Good morning, madam. It's
Thank you for having me.
Very busy week,
It
and
has.
we appreciate your jetting in from Abuja early this morning, straight to our studios here, uptown. Thank you. We appreciate that. It's been a very busy week for you.
Yes, it has.
And the first thing I'm trying to understand, why do we need a whole week to celebrate financial literacy? A few other events like Environment Day, Father's Day, the Mother's Day, usually take one day.
Yes.
So it looks like there's something big about what you call financial literacy.
Yes, it's very important. You know, Global Money Week is celebrated around the world, not just in Nigeria, and because of the importance of financial literacy for young people. So we have a lot of MSMEs in Nigeria now, and we find from research that the biggest impediment to their success is financial literacy. We've had talks with some investors who say even when you provide them, because everyone says it's access to capital, even when you provide the capital, they squander it because they don't understand how to budget, how to plan, what's business, what's personal.
Yeah, respectfully cutting. So
yes.
It's money on the table. So when we say financial literacy,
yes.
It's not just about the cash at hand or cash in the bank.
Yes. It's about the understanding of money and how you make money work for you.
So everybody likes money, everybody sees money, and everybody wants money.
Yes.
But it's not just about that.
It's not about money, it's about the mindset. So we had the Deputy Governor of Central Bank, Mrs. Aisha Ahmad, in one of our schools in Abuja yesterday. And she planned to spend 45 minutes, but she ended up spending 2 hours because she had to spend 2 hours reorienting the mindset of these students because she kept asking them questions sarcastically, but they thought it was true because they were saying things like, yes, if I have money, I'm going to have a lot of friends because I'll buy them things. And she's like, but are those the friends you want? You know, so she had to break it down about the relationship with money, with finding what you're passionate about, you know, using your skills. So we're really grateful that all these banks have come together to help educate our young people on what it means to earn money, what it means to manage money, and what it means to save money.
You folks doing this over a number of years. Are you seeing, I mean, at the Junior Achievement Nigeria, and you see some improvement, like what we've seen this week?
Yes, we've seen a lot of improvement, primarily because the bank MDs who go into the classrooms get challenged by these young ones.
Oh,
that
great.
why are
a few
you,
of them,
yes, why are you here when I can't open an account at your bank? And so there's been a lot of accounts for young people, products for young people, even products for young entrepreneurs. So one of the core programs that we do is an entrepreneurship program for secondary school students. And we're finding that we're able to access finance a bit more now, 5 years into Global Money Week activities, because financial inclusion is being realized. You know, 1.5 million young people sit for WAEC every year. Our universities can only absorb less than 500,000. So that means every year we're releasing over 1 million secondary school graduates into the unemployment workforce because they don't have the skills.
And avoid, they can't find, they don't know
they
what to do.
They don't know what to do. They don't have the skills.
No,
there are no jobs available, even for the ones that are lucky enough to get into university. When they graduate,
that's part of
those
of them we see on the streets.
It's a lot. It's a big problem.
Walking things in traffic.
Yes. So what we want to do is, while they're in secondary school, equip them with the skills that if you are, perchance one of those people who graduate and you're not able to immediately go into university, you have enough skills to fend for yourself, to develop a business, to run the business, to learn financial literacy, to know how money works for you. So instead of saving money to buy an iPhone, save money to buy a treasury bill or mutual fund and learn.
iPhone's about $1,000.
Exactly, these days. But you find young people carrying it. You find these people who have no job carrying it. So we're trying to reorient their mindsets to, invest in stock markets or buy, it takes very little to actually start an investment as a young person. And when I show them that, you put 10 naira away every day at your age now, you will be a millionaire by the time you're age 40. And they're like, what? Really?
Nobody told me that.
Yes, yes.
I should have been a millionaire. Now I'm 50. Oh, I missed that. Okay, I got some. I think I got some one or two kids. The guy to tell them, 10 naira a day, by 40, you're a millionaire.
Yes.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Yes. No, but
everybody wants to be a millionaire.
Everybody wants to be a millionaire.
Because this looks like catch them young.
Yes.
It's one area that when we look at the problem of MSMEs and others today, and banks says, look, part of the problem is because they got back loans and they got my second wife, they're going to some.
Even some members of government who don't really have idea about financial literacy because they were never taught when they were young. They didn't have junior achievement. They're struggling to find internally generated revenue. So they depend on the federal government allocations. So these things is throughout the economy.
I see the value chain. I see
yes,
the ecosystem.
It's throughout the economy.
Because if you're talking about tax, even for the government,
how do we even develop? Yes. How do we develop it? Yes.
Because they're sitting down there as your future taxpayers.
Yes.
Because if they come out out of secondary school, 12, 14, 15, or thereabout, by 18 they're legally to pay tax.
Yes.
So if you catch them young,
you
have millions of
and
new
they
taxpayers.
are productive. I mean, we have our Jegunle students in one of our programs who won our competition for Company of the Year program. They build a business that is making them millions of naira. And these are 15-year-olds in secondary school. We have the same thing, Abaji, Government Secondary School Abaji girls, who developed an app to sell their father's produce to consumers. And they're able to generate 14 million naira from that business. They returned 11 million to farmers, and they were able to keep 3 million for themselves. So we're not just talking about financial literacy. They're actually developing businesses that show them how, if I properly invest money and I build a business, I can actually get myself out of poverty.
We should get Babatunde Fowler along into and say, look, this is our potential.
Okay.
But again, if we look at the world of financial literacies, or what you call financial knowledge.
Yes.
If you look in our environment, you have folks with degrees in accounting, whatever.
Yes.
Yet financial issues become very difficult.
Yes.
What are you doing? Savings or investments or pension? Yesterday, the government just rolled out a micro pension program for the country. You think we generally have a problem around this?
I think it's getting more, we're getting with the fintechs and everybody doing more to include the out of, formal sector people in the formal sector. we're getting better at it, but we still have a very long way to go. We need to understand that the benefit, so the banks need to understand the benefits of including these people, that so you can't go to them with a CSR perspective. You have to go to them with a business perspective, that this is the business impact of including these people in your business, because there's actually millions of naira, maybe even billions, that are not being included in the economy because they are in the outside of the formal sector. So how do you create financial products for these people to include them in the formal sector? They may not want to go to the bank and open an account or even get a loan because of all the, so then what is it? Is it an app? Is it a USSD? What are the ways to get people to actually engage in the formal financial sector so that everybody gets elevated and the GDP, everything gets elevated? So that's part of what we do with the young people and even the banks that we work with. We have several banks on our board, Citibank, Stanbic, and First Bank, and we continually work with them on what are the financial products we can develop for our young people so that they're included in, now all the innovation is coming from young people, and some of the things that they're coming up with in terms of fintech blows your mind, because they know at school, that, some people will come up with an app at school to say, how do we get payments done between our cafeteria and our classes, so that before I even go for lunch, I've already paid for my lunch, I get there, I pick it up, I don't have to stay on the line. There are young people coming up with apps like that, and they sell it to their school, the school adopts it, and it becomes an easier payment system.
You're having
for the
fun
school.
with the kids.
It's a lot of fun.
Because you're saying those things as if you are also in the classroom as well.
I'm constantly learning from our students. I'm constantly learning. I feel like I'm technophobe, but they are teaching me how to use technology as well.
And you have a nice time there. I can see that, because the way it comes through is like, you talk about the banks and you work with the private sector, but what about the folks in government? What interactions are you folks having with the Junior Achievements Nigeria? And what are you saying to them, and what are they seeing themselves in the way to make sure that we carry everybody along? We have financial literacy, which is inclusive. We want to build an inclusive economy when some folks are out of the box.
So we have, certain government people are more supportive than others, but we've been definitely working with the government. This initiative was only possible because Central Bank is working with us, and I really, want to thank Mrs. Aisha Ahmad and the members of the Consumer Protection Unit who worked with us to make sure that every bank teaches in at least 30 schools. So we were able to reach 70,000 students or 75,000 students in one day, because each bank went to teach our programs in 30 schools each. So that's over 900 schools across the country. And so that's only possible when you've got government involved. We work with the ministries of education in different states to make sure that we're able to go into the schools to teach. Like Ogun State has welcomed us completely in the schools. Lagos State has welcomed us completely in the schools. So some governments would tell us, okay, these are 30 schools, go and do a pilot there and we'll see how it works. So we definitely want to partner with governments in every state to make sure that everything that we do is replicable and sustainable across the states.
And you see the benefits of this coming through in the bigger economy moving forward?
Yes, I do believe, look at the Ajegunle students. They developed a handheld traffic light because of the congestion in Ajegunle. They looked at this and they said, too many school children are dying in car accidents. We want to do something about it. And they developed a handheld traffic light, sold it to the local government, sold it to churches, schools. It has red, amber, green, just like you, because they don't have standing traffic lights. So they had to do this remote controlled. They painted zebra crossing on busy streets. And they were able to significantly reduce the rate of accidents in the country. And they were able to significantly make money. And we took them to the JA Africa International Competition, and they won. So things like that, people see that it actually impacts the community. The girls in Abuja who created the app for farmers, they were able to register 400 farmers outside of their parents, whose livelihoods were impacted by 11 million naira. So these are not just CSR activities. They contribute to the economy. They contribute to the well-being of several people in the ecosystem. And so we're really hoping that we get more involved with the government to get our programs across the entire country.
What are some of the conversations going on around the world when it comes to financial literacy that you think we can still take on board?
There are wonderful applications where you know, as a farmer or as a market woman, you can just use your thumbprint to do, you know, financial transactions. I think we need to adopt more of that, and it's across the world where we're seeing young people, because, you know, Junior Achievement operates in 120 countries across the world. So when we attend their own competitions and we see the level they're at, we know we've still got a long way to go. And I think that we have a CBN that's now very committed to embracing young people coming up with, you know, new fintech applications. We see the banks, you know, before they were fighting it, but now they're all, you know, creating digital labs to incubate young people coming up with new. So they've realized that we've got to join this fight, and we have to understand that they are not trying to eliminate us, but they're trying to support us because they bring in an aspect of the economy that we don't currently serve. And so now people are more open to, you know, embracing young people who are coming up with different fintech applications to work.
So who else would you want to see more on board with what Junior Achievement Nigeria is doing? How much more would you want to get done? What's your outlook on where the economy is going? How much more work do you think we still have?
I think we need to embrace digital education in Nigeria. I think, well, first of all, infrastructure, because when we look at what's getting done with some of our students across the world, some of the things that they're coming up with, it's because in their classrooms they have access to technology. From the age of 5, they're coding. And so Lagos has gone a long way with Code Lagos and things like that, but majority of our states are still far behind in terms of just even getting young people to embrace technology, to be innovative and to, you know, design thinking. So we would like to see more states embrace the design thinking and, you know, some of the programs that we're bringing, digital skills training, so that these young people understand innovation from a very young age. By the time they're teenagers, they're coming up with these things that are just easing the flow of business, easing financial transactions, easing even the way, you know, from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, easing your day, you know, with productivity tools and things like that. So we think if there is one thing that we would like the government to get from this today, is that we need to develop digital skills in our young people. And by doing that, we need to work on infrastructure, we need to build ICT labs in schools, we need to update our curriculum, and then we need to let them just be free to embrace innovation. And then when we see people, and this is a conversation I have with CBN all the time, that when you see young people who are coming up with brilliant apps for fintech, embrace them, incubate them, and let them, because at the end of the day, it helps everybody when more people get infiltrated into the formal sector.
I think it gets more difficult to become innovative when you start getting older.
No, it doesn't. You just have to keep a learning mindset. You have to keep learning.
Yeah, when you look at the various jurisdictions around the world, South Korea and others, you find that the huge number of innovations coming from those who are much younger. Yeah. Because the brain is still fresh, still more sharp, less burden about the daily life, family life, and other things.
There's no fear of, oh, I have to pay my son's school fees, so I can't take risks and things like that. Yes.
So I think we just need to do that. Maybe talking to the Ministry of Youth and others.
Yes. We would happily partner with any governmental institution that wants to work with us. And we just say, create the enabling environment and get out of the way. Those are the two things that government has to embrace. Because sometimes we kill innovation with regulation. So just create the enabling environment, then take yourself out of the way and let them run.
And just be a referee by the sidelines. Don't get on the football pitch.
Then be a referee and be an incubator when you notice some outstanding things like that need government power to scale it up. So if you see that something is working in Lagos, embrace it so that you scale it up across all these 36 states. So things like that is where government should step in. Otherwise,
Oh, great. So we move from federal to subnational and all the way down to local governments.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. It's been a very busy week.
Thank you.
You've got to go take some rest.
Yes, thank
I'm not
you.
sure the day is over yet.
It's not over yet.
I don't think so, based on what you told me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam, for coming through. Bisi Nwogugu, who is the executive, Simi Nwogugu, the executive secretary at Junior Achievements Nigeria.